Hey everyone. So in this video I want to talk about something that was so huge throughout my eating disorder, and it really influenced everything that I did. And that thing is fear. Now the reason I wanted to talk about that is because I think so many of us are, particularly in relation to eating disorders, we are driven by fear. It's like the eating disorder tells us to do something, and we do it because we're afraid of what the consequences might be if we don't. And what I find really interesting is that the eating disorder creates these kind of fears that keep us compliant. So it's like, I'm afraid or I don't want to do this thing or eat that thing because I'm afraid of what people will say, as an example. But what I find interesting about that is that I'm not convinced that that is the actual fear. Because I think when we go a step further, it's like, okay, well, what's scary about that? What is making us fearful of that thing, that potential consequence? And what I have seen that really it kind of all boils down to is that we are afraid to feel something. We are afraid to feel something maybe uncomfortable, or something that we don't know how to deal with. Those feelings and emotions that feel overwhelming. And I just think it's really interesting that the eating disorder almost, creates these fears that stop us from realizing what's actually behind them, if that makes sense. And like I said, I think it's when we get below all of those kind of material fears, if that makes sense, then it really does come down to we're afraid of feeling that feeling that might come up. And what I want to say about that is that is okay. That is okay to feel whatever it is that may come up as a consequence of doing something that the eating disorder doesn't like. And it's okay to feel that when we know what they're made of. And if you've watched our videos before, you'll have heard me talk about this a fair bit. But when we see that feelings are safe to feel when we just let them do their thing without feeling that we need to act on them or fix them or run away from them or lash out because of them, that actually they're these flows of energy that want to be released. They want to be felt, they want to be expressed. And so when we kind of get trapped in this cycle of avoiding feeling those feelings by doing that thing that the eating disorder has told us to do in order to avoid it, and then we do that thing, then we maybe feel a bit of temporary relief, and then we're back where we started again. And when we get stuck in that cycle, we're not allowing that energy to be released. It gets trapped, and it kind of just keeps going round and round in that cycle. So what I kind of maybe encourage you to reflect on is, what is that feeling that you may be afraid to feel? Like, what's underneath all the layers of what maybe appears to be that fear? What's like the feeling underneath that? What is the fear that maybe, but what is that feeling that you're maybe afraid to feel? And just starting to ask some of those questions, like, okay, well, what if I did allow myself to feel that? What then? You know, what if actually nothing happens? What if actually I feel a whole lot better after just letting it do its thing, letting it pass through me? And I'd just love you to just reflect on that and just see what comes up. And feel free to leave any comments below, and I'll see you in the next video.